Hey Al, got this goofy thing in my head. I'm gonna start this video that I have been intending to make for you. So here I go. Let's see, I guess that's aimed the right way, seemingly. So I'm gonna go over here and make sure that what I'm looking at is what you're looking at. It's a mirror on my desk. So anyway, the first thing I want to talk about, and you can ignore this if you want, but I read that post where you're just really wanting to get yourself kind of lost in your art, and I have a thought about that. I just think basically that you're kind of starting over each time, and my thinking is that maybe you're not really invested in each one. That is to say that every time you sit down to paint, it just seems like a mountain, where you have to, a mountain, but a little mountain. I mean, like, I see you starting these paintings, and I can imagine myself trying to start a new painting each time, and kind of losing the inspiration for it, because I didn't do all this extra work that I always do, that you can kind of see all over the place here. And that's all I wanted to talk about a little bit, is just that I think that if you took more time in the preparation stages, you would have lots more stuff to work with as you went along. If you set it up so that each time you attack the project, whatever the project is, you would have more stuff to work with and to play with. What I do, as I think I might have mentioned this, is I leave my shit out all the time. It doesn't matter where you are. If you can leave it out and look at it, you can think of stuff to do with it. Like on my painting here, I think I still have some notes on the side here, and I'll put post-it notes here and there, and for the next time I paint on it, so that I'm always looking at it. Or so I'm watching a TV show. That's honestly, I'll put it right next to where I'm sitting and watching a TV show, or a movie, especially if it's an older one. I'll be looking at it, especially if I'm high. Boy, I get all kinds of ideas and make all kinds of notes and such. And so this is how I prepare. I do the little sketch here. I originally thought it'd be like a cat person. That seemed a little trite, but my inspiration for all of this was this stairway coming down to a wetland. I've been to a bunch of those, especially I was working with this one lady out in the Economwalk area, and that's what she had. She had a house up here, and then this back and forth switchback stairway down to the lake. And when I hike out there too, I go by these wetlands that are there with the lake at the bottom of a bluff, basically, or a steep hill. And it just seems, I'm really kind of taken with the whole idea of stairways. This is sort of a spiritual kind of thing. So that's what I did here. First I did this sketch, then I refined the sketch, and I did a value sketch. Oop, that's still dirty. So I did a value sketch, and then I did that thing over there. I suppose you could see it. There it is. The color comp, right? At some point, then I refined the sketch here before transferring it to the board, which is up there. And so I got, all these different, so this is what I used to, as my reference. I enlarged this crappy sketch into this, or the original crappy sketch. Where's the crappy? Oh, I'm holding it in my hand, so I can get all the proportions and the placements correct. And then I did the more detailed sketch on top of it, so I could start playing with the shapes and making them the kinds of shapes that I like. And then I transferred it to the board, and I had this reference. I transferred to that one, actually. And I had this reference for the value sketch, so that I could use that when making the color comp. And finally, this big thing where I get to actually work out all of the values of the final piece. And it's just, all those stages really invest me and make me curious and interested in all the little parts of the painting. Can't really see what I'm pointing at unless I have the mirror down. Oh, and of course, along the way, I get all the reference pictures that I need. I didn't need much for the wetland because I've done some wetlands already, but I still got some. You know, got some good reed bunches. Nice little sunset reference. I think I got some sunset. Yep, because I got that eclipse happening in the background, so I got reference for the clouds and how their brightness interacts with the sun. So all the stuff I wasn't sure about, I got all these crow pictures that I then just placed. You know, I just traced them, enlarged them in Photoshop, and you know, let's see, enlarge them. Geez, go away. Enlarge them in Photoshop, and along with the drawing, and place them in Photoshop. Printed it out, black in the back, drew through, transferred. So all these different steps really make me very interested and always give me something extra to do. But the main thing is I'm building up these steps over the last bunch of years, because whenever I have fewer steps, I get tired of it. So for example, this big cloud thing over here, I got all these, you know, grasses and stuff. I'll finish them someday. I don't know when the hell I'm gonna, because all this stuff is brand new and interesting. But the more steps I add, the more relaxed I can be when I finally get to the final one. So this is the first time I've done both a color comp and what's it called when you do an underpainting. So the first time I did both of those things, and I'm really just having a great time because I'm just dealing with values here. It's like doing like one of my drawing of the ghost drawing over there, or the one with the willow. You know, I'm just it's one tool. I don't have to worry about color, I don't have to worry about color. All I get to worry about is value. So I'm doing one thing at a time that I just get to focus on. So it's composition, it's draftsmanship, and then it's value, and that, you know, then I'm getting all the details down in value, so that I don't find myself in a rut where I'm trying to fix value and color and all these things all at once later in the composition. And there's so many fun things just to work with and to work out and to make work together. And so, I mean, I feel like you would probably have an easier time if you worked with longer form compositions instead of small paintings. You would just be able to be inspired by it as you take your time, you know, building it up. You're working on one thing at a time and not getting tired of it, but also having all these different aspects to work on that you already know about. All right, so let me see if this is going to work. So I'm going to, okay, all right, good. That's the end of that part. And maybe you fast forwarded through it. That's cool. Okay, so here, let me make sure I'm looking at this correctly. So, and yeah, okay, you can see everything. Cool. All right. So the one rule I try to follow is if I don't see it or I'm not sure, don't do it. So essentially it's a prohibition against painting or drawing automatically. Just because I'm in an area, I don't have to finish it. I don't have to work it up to finish. I just put down what I'm thinking about, and gingerly, in this case, you know, very transparently, and I build up. And when I am able to look back at it, after I worked on a different area, I can feel the integration, and I can understand how the lighting would affect that small area more so. So for example, here I've got some indications of the fall off of the light, and the light being her wings. And that's the idea with the wings is that they're going to be very, very high contrast with a glow around all of them. So she is the light source on her own body. There's also the moon coming down. So I'm all about the light source and the lighting. And I also have a color idea that's similar to that, you know, blues on the bottom, oranges and reds on the top, and purples in the middle. So it's basically, it's like two different paintings, maybe three, all stick together. That's the concept. So I'm working out how, you know, reflective light off the water and her environment. So on this side, for example, the reeds are silhouetted. They're in front of the steps. On this side, the steps, they're actually, it's the opposite. The reeds are exposed to the light of her body, whereas in this case on the right, the reeds are lit from the back, so they're silhouetted. So that's another fun lighting thing. So and when I paint her, I get to figure out, well, where does the blue light hit and where does the light from the wings, which will be a different blue. So this is all a color cast of blue, but it'll be a little symphony of two different blues. And so I'll get to figure that out later on. So the crows, they'll have like blue lighting on the outstretched wings, but there'll be edge rim lighting from the bright blue of the character's wings. So on the wings, they'll be from the sky, lighting most of the top of this bird, but on edge lighting, it'll be a different blue rim lighting the bird and the stairs and all this stuff. So I got two different light sources, really not much bounce light happening at all, except from the water bouncing light back up. So I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, okay, what can I be absolutely sure about painting right now? And that's what I'm gonna start painting, is whatever I'm sure about. And when I get tired of it, I'm gonna move on or to someplace else. Like for example, these steps would be, darker going up and away from her light source and lighter down here. Now lighter down here, I'm fairly unsure about that. I'm just very, very hesitant to do that. But at some point, I'm going to start gradually or gradually moving on, or whatever other work I've done already will show me what I should do in this area. I know it intellectually, but I'm not sure what to do about it quite yet. Oh, here's Vicky. She posed for the character's head. I really needed that reference, turns out. Yeah, so there's a reference that can go away for now. Over there, sit, good boy. And here's my palette. I'm gonna probably cut you one later on today. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with this silhouette, which I had ended up with. That's kind of fresh, and it'll be easy to make those silhouetted shapes, while including these flowing shapes of the mist, really just here. And it'll be dark again at the bottom, then trapping the mist inside the reeds. And this is too bright over here. It's not really that close to any light source, and it's just it's only lit by the sky, which is, you imagine it's sunset over there. Up above, it's going to be a shade of blue. But I like the idea that this area is like trapped in shadow, and all the light area is up there. So I'm going to stop this video and start a new one. Ooh, how do I do that? With the mirror.